This is More Than Reality podcast, where we dive into all things faith, family, and marriage and share that there is so much more than the reality that you see on the surface. Welcome to More Than Reality with Adam and Danielle Busby.
What's up? Episode 26,
hello.
And we are hot off of a little family
Are we
spring
hot?
break.
I think we're tired. Or I am.
Yeah, so today
Vacation after vacation's needed.
Today was a super early day for us. We were traveling back home from Orlando for spring break with the kids. This morning we were up at like 4:30 in the morning. We had to get to the airport super early.
Well, Hazel woke up at like 3:15 in the morning and said, my stomach hurt. And I was like,
Oh no.
oh, geez. And I was like, are you hungry? Do you have to go to the bathroom? No. Do you have to throw up? No. Well, let's get a sip of water. Let's go potty. And let's go lay back down. And I gave her like a pillow, like hug this pillow, soothe your tummy or whatever, you know. About 30 minutes later, she goes, Mom, I threw up. In the toilet? No. And I was like, oh my gosh. Where on earth did you throw up? And I thought, okay, it's not going to be like throw up, real throw up. No, it was. Then on the way to the airport, we rented like a Sprinter van type thing because there's 8 of us in our luggage.
Yeah.
And that's all Adam was thinking on the way to drive. Hazel's like, my stomach doesn't,
in this car.
my stomach doesn't feel good. It's like the best tip I've learned just for myself was carrying
Puppy bag, doggy bag.
like doggy poop bags, you know, a little roll that you would take when you go walk your dog and you'd pick the poop up in the bag. I just had them in the van and I needed them for when Olivia was sick and just constantly having to blow her nose. And she's like, where do I put this? I'm like, let's just put it in this bag, So I had some in my like carry-on, like little backpack. And then I thought, oh my gosh, I am so smart. This is like always going to be on my checklist.
I know.
Like
I was driving the van and I look over and I see you pull that out. I'm like, awesome.
And I was like, Hazel, if you have to throw up, it goes in this little bag. And I'm thinking, I don't even know if this bag can hold throw up, but it was solid. It held up. It did great. She threw up in the van, in the bag. And a couple of them do get car sick and
She threw up in the last road trip that we took.
Yeah, they get like motion sick car sick. But she
all
also,
over my camera bag.
Yes. She also gets real anxious with like knowing we have to be somewhere on time. And like ever since they've all kind of learned the time management of like me, I'm kind of slapped myself in the face quite a few times with all these kids saying, we need to go, Mom. It's 7. We need to go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I know.
Riley's like the biggest stickler for like time. Or like she'll ask, how long does it take to get there? And she'll literally,
she
like, if you tell her a time, she's going to hold you to it.
Yeah.
And she'll like start a stopwatch.
Yeah, she will. No, but how long do you think it's going to take there? 15 minutes, but I don't know. According to traffic, it might take 30. She'll set a timer 15 minutes. And she's like, why are we not there yet? And I'm like, because there's traffic. Yeah. So the doggy bag will always now forever be in my carry-on backpack, but also just in my car because we had to have it. The last time we went on it was just a road trip. Yeah. She ended up throwing up all over Adam's camera bag. And I was just like, oh gosh, the one thing in the van not to throw up on is Adam's camera bag.
Yeah. I was driving. I just didn't even want to look back.
Thank God you had a little bit of sympathy, extra sympathy.
Yeah. I was like, it's okay. It's okay. I'm like, oh,
you're dying inside. Hey, but this is reality. Those are
designed.
Life.
My camera bags are at least designed to be somewhat waterproof. And so I knew everything inside of it's fine. And so I was like, oh, whatever. I'll just hose it off.
Oh, good to know after the fact. I was thinking, don't panic. Don't get on Adam's daddy's cameras and all his things. And just throw up in my purse. That's okay. Not on the camera bag. Starting this podcast off with a mom tip is just always carry that roll with you. Like when kids are sick or if you have kids that are like nauseous or like get car sick, which we have like 2 or 3 of them, 2 of them for sure, 3 sometimes, and me all the time. And I just found like it's so small, it's simple, it's easy. And yeah, I mean,
sometimes it can be a lifesaver.
That saved the rental van.
Yeah, because I was stressed out because whenever we booked the trip, I mean, I searched everywhere in Orlando for like a rental van. Like, I mean, I looked at Enterprise and Hertz and even like these smaller rental services, and nothing. Nobody had anything. I mean, you think Orlando, it's probably a bunch of bigger families or, extended families all taking a trip together or whatever. So like vans get used a lot there.
And sometimes
because we can't do a minivan.
Well, we've traveled twice. We've traveled a couple of times before where we got 2 different vehicles, and it's worked for like certain scenarios of like location in this. But like this one, we didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
We were vlogging it, and like it just was weird. Like if we weren't in the same van together. But yeah, I mean, we did a lot of different things this trip, like trying to work out logistics and time management of like divide and conquer. This was the first time we ever did how we traveled this time. I don't know how you felt about it. I felt like it went well, and it had to have gone that way, which I would say that I'm the one that's more like the do this, do that, do this, do that. And this time it was like you dropped us all off, and I'm like, okay, I got this.
Yeah.
With all the looks in the airport.
Yeah. So this time around the only option was just to look through Turo.
Toro or Turo?
Turo.
Oh, it is T-U. I thought it was T-O.
So I booked a van through Turo. And so it's just something about that. I mean, I know there's a lot of companies out there that kind of make businesses out of Turo. And so they have like a whole fleet of vehicles that they just rent out. And so it's like kind of like a mini rental company. And I think that's what these people that are rented through were. But even still, I mean, like whenever you're like renting with Turo, it's like, I feel like I'm in somebody else's car. And so
not just like Enterprise rent a car where people are not allowed to smoke.
I mean, Enterprise, like I wouldn't really feel as bad because they see it every day or whatever, but it's just the feeling of this is somebody else's car. But
those vans like that are probably just used for like literally just business.
Yeah.
Like this rental property, like Enterprise would be.
But even still.
Yeah.
And I knew probably the bill that I would get for the cleanup would probably be exponentially higher if it's not like an Enterprise or something.
Yeah. We've had a lot of throw up situations with all of our children.
Yeah.
It doesn't phase us too much anymore unless it involves Adam's camera gear.
Yeah. And it's a little stressful.
So yeah, we're going to talk about, we're going to get onto our little connect cards here, do our like weekly question to each other to connect and talk. And then we're going to talk about stuff about vacation. So let's rock and roll in the questions. I'm going to ask you first. I'm picking yours. Wabah. What does your ideal sex life look like?
Ooh, spicy. What does my ideal sex life look like?
Every day, every hour. That's probably what you would say.
Isn't that a song? Every hour, every day.
I don't know, but it wouldn't go to that beat or that tune.
It's singing about God, though. Oh, I need you, Lord.
Okay.
Can't really, just sacrilegious. Ideal sex life. It was funny because this week.
Oh, we're going into a
in
story
in the car.
Oh, that meme.
You were in Walgreens getting some stuff.
Medicine.
Getting medicine and Dramamine.
Because Olivia broke out in a rash.
Yeah.
And so I had to, like, this is just.
No, it was, it was
I had to
like.
go get Olivia a rash.
Zyrtec
like a Zyrtec or Benadryl or whatever.
And so I was just like on Instagram because I'm just like sitting in the car waiting for Danielle. And this thing pops up and it says regular sexual activity will
make you look younger or something.
Will make you look younger. And so like as soon as Danielle gets in the car, I showed it to her.
And I said, you held that on your phone and were so excited to show me that. The second I walked in, he's like points his phone to me. I'm like, what?
There you go.
Like,
who needs Botox?
I'm like, so you're telling me I need to look younger?
Huh?
Or that we need to have more sex? You're like, let's just have more sex. It'll benefit you from looking younger. And you too, right?
I mean, like, what? Our sex life? Probably. I mean, we probably have sex.
No, we don't have to talk like that. It's just, we're not talking
4 to
about
5 days a week. This is more than reality, babe. We're diving in there.
It says, what was the question?
What is your ideal sex life? I know. So like ideal. I mean, I think we're pretty close to ideal. Like
okay,
5 days a week.
That's a lot. That's what it sounds like, but okay.
We're pretty close to that. I mean, some weeks more, some weeks maybe a day less.
Okay. Is that ideal for you? That was the question.
I think we found a
Stop saying we. This was
fairly
a question
healthy
for
sweet
you.
spot.
Okay. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
What?
Am I making you blush?
No, it's not your sarcasm usual answered self that I was expecting.
What? I mean, should we get into like positions and stuff?
Adam, no. No.
So I'm feeling, I
This
think
is a family
Blake listens
podcast.
to this every now and
This
then.
is a family podcast. That's not the topic of today's conversation. It was just a question to connect.
Maybe next episode we'll
We'll have
dive
the
deep.
disclaimer.
We'll go deep.
Okay.
Doing this for you. What is one way you think we balance each other in our relationship?
We've always said this, and I've always said this, like when we work as a team, we work well together, even though we're complete opposites in so many ways. When we can follow our own, what each of us is good at and use those to work together, that's what makes it a successful time and not a comparison or a you can help with this and you can help with that, or you can do this or that. It's like when I do what I can do and you do what you can do, and we do those things together for the benefit of the relationship or work life or businesses or whatever. If we stay in our own field and do those together.
Yeah. We know what each of us is strong suit.
Right. And then when we stay within those strong suits and not cross over to say, like, sometimes it causes more work when we don't stay in those paths of like what we know is our strong suits.
Yeah. And
it causes fights and frustrations and overwork and whatnot. So I think that we're still learning to it's been almost 20 years of marriage, but like, I feel like we're still learning the path of really doing that well together, because for the last like 10 years, we've done a lot of things together and work and everything together. But if you look back at, not these last like 2 to 3 years, but like prior to that, there was always people around doing all kind of things. And, with the TV crew, there's a production manager, there's someone helping prep this and do that activity and clean up this mess after that.
Everything was always different.
It's always different. So there was always extra hands doing things that needed to be done for that rim of business, for TV production, right? And so when we do things together and work together, when we stay in our own lane, it works well. So like if I talk about like vacation, if I can organize, if I can plan, if I can get the structure going and whatever, and you do what you do as far as like when you want to because we're vlogging it, like capturing it and knowing what we need to make. And if we can stay on those sides of our brain and working talents, like it works better together. I feel like we've always been good team, because like when it comes to parenting, I think that's where we probably work the best together, because we kind of really have always said like, let's do this together as far as like, how do we want to raise? How do we want to parent? How do we want to discipline? We've always come together with like those type of things. When it comes to the work field,
consistent.
We always had separate careers and separate gifts with, how to do certain things. And now we work together a lot. So just combining those things, but it's also a relationship, a lot of togetherness, a lot of all the timeness, which is not bad, but it can be a sense of like, it's too comfortable in a sense sometimes. So you assume that someone's going to do this or someone's going to do that. And then that can affect the motion of whatever what the project is and stuff. But we're getting better at it. And I think a lot of it too is just more communication, more conversations around
setting expectations.
And my favorite thing to do is just like the preparedness of it and the prep of it, because that's what I used to do in my whole career anyway. Yeah. And it just makes everything flow better.
Yeah. So, especially like on a trip like we were just on, like even like in the mornings, I know Danielle has like an itinerary for the day and like where we're going, what we're supposed to be doing. And so like I'll just go sit down with her in the morning and be like, okay, what do I need to expect, or the night before too? What do I need to be prepared for? And so I can like pack up like what we're doing for the day, know in my head what we're going to be doing today, what I need to bring with me, stuff like that. Just because I am capturing it as best possible, for the family and stuff. And so, just having an idea, okay, tomorrow we're going to be here, we're going to be doing this. So like, I know what to bring, what to have on hand. And if we're going from one place to the next, like stuff that I can like stage in the car and have ready and swap out like in the camera bag. And then just like to have expectation whenever the kids are obviously asking, what are we doing and where we're going and stuff. Some stuff we like to keep it a surprise to them.
Oh, really?
We had, I'll tell them like one thing.
I hate surprises, but then
I'll also say, but I'm not sure.
No, gosh.
I think we're going to do this, but I'm not sure. So don't.
He's like, I'm like, don't tell them about this. He's like, well, I kind of already mentioned that there's an option to do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
But I don't know if we're doing it. So keep them guessing.
Anyway, so yeah, just working together as a team and staying in our lanes.
And I think and it's crazy because we did come from we did come from a very different like upbringing and background as far as like parents and parenting style and stuff like that. And like my parents were like super hands-on and super involved in everything. And, I even talked about before, like growing up and like sports and stuff, like my dad was always the baseball coach and like my mom was always there. And, like we did everything together. And then yours was a little bit more hands off. But then as we came together as a married couple and as parents, those have kind of like fused together and, you learn, what worked, what didn't. Also, we had friends that, had kids before us through our like struggle with infertility and stuff. And, you kind of see and watch, you observe what other parents do, their parenting style, are they different? Are they not, are they not consistent? And you kind of see the problems that arise because of it. And they're like, okay, and just taking mental notes as you go, like, oh, okay, like, let's not do that, or let's do more of that, or whatever. And you see like the good and not so good of just like others around you, and kind of helps you like hone, what you want to be as a parent.
Yeah. And I think that's what's so interesting about like the life God's given us, and like how when we came together and, have this family and what God's blessed us with every day. To me, yes, there's days where like it's exhausting or it's tiring, and I don't want to do this or I don't want to do that, or I'm overworked or I'm stressed or like I'm tired, like whatever there might be a daily excuse for, no matter what, especially when we are out of the house and doing something. I feel that this might sound funny or kind of ridiculous, but like when we went on vacation, like every day is like a challenge. And that
it definitely was. Yeah.
Every day is like a challenge because like you don't know, like, and that feeds me. And that's something that I know God knew. Keep it going, you know, and I work better when it's not so just like blah. And I'm like, I get more restless when I'm like, what are we doing? Like, and I can relax and I can sit down and enjoy things, but I'm just that person that's like, okay, so today's challenge is going to be making sure like we get through the airport and blah, 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 all the kids together, check the, like that's a big thing to do.
Yeah.
But in that moment, I'm like, I got this, you know?
And thankfully, like, our kids have been very good travelers from babies. And so, they're very seasoned travelers going through an airport, know what to do, know to stay close, kind of know the process. It doesn't really stress them out. They're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
And I love opportunities like this. And I always try to take opportunities like this, even in a grocery store when we were teaching our kids about allowances and spending money. It's like, I do better in those scenarios, like letting them each self-checkout, where Adam's like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming. All these people behind us, like we're going to bog up this lane. And I'm like, whoa, buddy, they can go to a different lane because we're teaching them like, hey, this costs $4.30. Put your $5 bill in, And so just like I have to take moments because this is like the life that we have and teach them almost all at the same time. So like going through the airport and this airport, it's like I don't ever take opportunity, all these moments of like, not to take advantage of teaching them because I don't want them to be in a situation. And this got asked by Riley, like, why are you letting Parker tell us where to go? And I'm like, because I'm trying to teach y'all, this is what your ticket looks like. You have to find this number. You have to look at the gates. And so I would tell them like, okay, this is our flight. So let's look for a Southwest one. Okay. Who found it? Okay. So what do we do here? Like always trying to like teach them in those moments because they're going to learn eventually, but why not keep them engaged instead of saying, can I have a piece of candy here? Can we stop there? Can I go to the bathroom? Can I do this? Can I do that? It's like, no, let's make it a challenge
like
and then
on
focus on them. Like this is the number we're looking for. This is the gate we're looking for. Who can spot the first bathroom? So that way we can stop all together, like just get them involved. And we've always have done this. Like you talk about this with cooking with kids, get them involved because it's going to make them want to try things more, Yeah. So even in those scenarios, even when I'm by myself for a moment or a time or whatever, I really do try to take advantage of a lesson learned kind of thing. And you got some of them are like, but where's daddy? Is he going to get left behind? Is he going to make it home? But where is he? Where is he? And I'm like, girls, he's a big boy.
He's a big boy. He travels a lot more than we do.
What happens if you don't make the flight? You just get on another one.
Daddy does this by himself a lot.
A lot. Yeah. I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, traveling's always fun. I didn't grow up traveling a lot. And so I still get excited to go to places, even if I've been there before. But this spring break trip was different. We, a lot of people go to Orlando, go to Disney, but we did that like last January. Like
I feel like every time that we've gone to Orlando, it's been like Disney. Somewhat Disney related.
Yeah.
And this is the very first trip that we've ever done where we didn't do the Disney stuff. We're like, okay, let's see what else is here.
And there is so many things to do.
Oh my gosh.
There's so many things to do. So many things to do. So I'm going to like try to get a blog together because I've had so many people when I'd said like on my Instagram, like Orlando, give me some restaurant tips. And we went to a couple of them, saw a couple of the ones that people were talking about and just even recommendations around locally from people saying, go here, go there. But so I'll create a blog and share all that kind of stuff too.
And before, like we'd go, it'd be like Disney focused or whatnot. So, we wouldn't even worry about like a rental car. Because
they would set it up.
We would just set up like a shuttle service because
same with filming.
Once we would go there, like, I mean, we never leave because everything there. This is the first time that we actually rented a car, and then we had,
not the first time we've rented a car
in Orlando. Yeah.
Oh, in Orlando, not first time on a vacation.
No, in Orlando. And so, we could go out and, if we needed to pop in somewhere or make a quick run to Walgreens or whatever, have to call an Uber or whatever, we had access to a vehicle. And so like, it was a different experience and, we could kind of fine tune and cater like our trip to like what we wanted to do. And like, we could change plans and go here and change things up a little bit more than just being tied down to one location. And
if we were doing something just Universal or just Disney, we probably wouldn't have really rented. We probably would have just taken some type of like shuttle or like large Uber or split up into Ubers and gone to destination. Because I know a lot of places with Disney, they have shuttles that go here and there and you don't really need transportation, but we were doing a lot of different things. So this trip, we needed the transportation because we were driving around and, going from different places to different places. Yeah. So it was beneficial.
Yeah. And so this trip, one thing that was really cool, we stayed at like one of the Hilton Grand Vacation type resorts there. And it was like a very family oriented resort, which was really cool because even whenever we had downtime, like we had a whole day for sure, at least a day. I mean, if you probably add it all up, it was probably 2 whole days of just like downtime. And there were so many activities and things for the kids to do. They had a whole activity center.
I think it's funny when we say downtime. It's not really downtime, but it's downtime to us.
But it was because, like, I mean, they had like this activity center that the kids absolutely loved. And you like walk into the activity center and there's like a whole craft area where they can, I mean, like one day they went in there and made slime and I mean, but they have all these different like craft activities, but then there's like a pool table, and then there's like all these different
Ping pong. I mean,
video
so many
game
different
stations, and then there's ping pong and cornhole, and there's a chessboard and board games, and there's just all these different things that you can do.
Make T-shirts, make
And
bracelets, make like whatever the activities were throughout the day.
And so we would get back to the hotel, and like
it's all they wanted to go.
And they were just like, "Can we go to the activity center?" But then, on top of the activity center, they had this whole resort pool and stuff where, they had, the bars and stuff and ice cream outside.
This was the first time that it was you and me when they all went into the activity center, and me and you were sitting by the pool.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so weird.
Yeah.
Like that was like a aha moment. Like, wow, we just let them go, which it's not like it's a far away. They were all together. And they were all like went to the activity center because we wanted to chill out by the pool. And they were swimming and coming in and out and doing all the things. But they went, can we go play in the activity center? It's like, sure. Yeah. And they have like workers and like people in there engaging with them and like playing with them or like doing the activity or showing them what the activities are or whatever. And we were in there a lot with them. But for this one moment, I remember sitting there and I think I took that picture. I'm like, wow, our kids are getting older. Like we actually just sat here by the pool. I had a cocktail and that was the vegged out moment of like downtime right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably lasted 30 minutes.
And you weren't really worried about, we need to entertain the kids and do this and cater to this. And they just were
constantly like finding something to entertain themselves and play. And
it was cool because even one night, I think it was after we got back from somewhere. It may have been we went to it
was Discovery Cove.
Yeah, Discovery Cove. We got, which is really cool. It's across the street from SeaWorld, and
that's a lot more place.
Yeah, that place was super cool and a lot more interactive with like the sea life and whatnot. Like there's this whole lagoon that you can go and snorkel in, and there's like stingrays and
tons of fish.
Tons of fish. There's even like an area where they have like a huge shark tank where the sharks are like walled off, but you can like snorkel down and there's like glass windows so you can see in, so it feels like you're swimming with the sharks, but you're safe. But actually people can actually go and scuba dive and do different things inside of that shark tank, which is crazy.
The kids weren't old enough for that, but I think some of them would have done it.
But I mean, there's like, there's this aviary where like you walk through and there's just birds everywhere, and there's like stations where workers are there just handing you cups of different food and stuff that the birds eat, and you can go up and feed the birds. And
it just was very much more of like, which we love places like this where we can engage and interact with the animals. And it's like that other place up in Spring.
Yeah.
That
it's like right by the airport.
That place is amazing. Like everything you can do like with animals. Like they had all these flamingos. You can do like bird feedings. You could do stuff like with the dolphins.
Interactive zoo.
Interactive, like more of an interactive. And that's how like this place was.
Pretty much every animal there.
You could do some interaction.
You could either interact with or feed or, some of them, like it costs a premium to like, they'll go into the cage and like either let you in with a trainer or pull the animal out and like kind of let you interact with it. And they'll teach you about the animal and all this kind of stuff while it's like kind of crawling around on the floor, in your little circle or whatnot. But this place was very similar to that on a much grander scale. And then we did
tropical.
And then we did like, we had like a little cabana that overlooked one of the three like dolphin coves. And so they had these dolphins that are in there that like rescued dolphins. And, some of them are very well trained and like just crazy and just super interactive. And,
kids had a blast. The kids had a blast, like being able to get to know a dolphin and
like pet
and
ask
questions. And
they asked so many questions. And then at the end, they had these photographers or whatever that you can get like a photo with the dolphin and stuff. So we did like a family photo, and then the kids got to,
and all I know you're thinking is that I wish I could just use my camera.
Yeah. I know, like they said, like you can't bring a camera out there, and I was like, oh gosh, because like we're vlogging it, and so I remember like, I got my Ray-Bans that have a camera in them, and so because they said that you could actually wear glasses out there, and I'm like, I'll put those on, and so at least I can get some footage of like down there with them, because all they had was a photographer.
Yeah,
I got some footage of that. It's vertical, but it works. that place was super neat. And they had like a lazy river there that kind of went through the aviary. So like you go through this waterfall that kind of traps so the birds can't fly out. So you go through this waterfall and then you're in the aviary floating through and birds are flying overhead and stuff. And they have an island with like a bunch of monkeys out on this island that you can float by. And like, it was just super neat.
It's like 2 mile long, like lazy river. It's a made lazy river, but it looks so like natural spring.
Yeah.
All the plants around are all real. There was nothing fake there. And so you just really feel like you're floating through the Amazon.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is incredible. It's beautiful. The weather was weird. For Orlando, it literally was like I have a picture the one that you took with all the girls on the hammock at the beach, and they're all like in sweatsuits because it's like 45 degrees in the morning, and then it'd get like to like 70, no cloud in the sky, like high UV during midday and the rest of the day. But in the mornings, it was so cold.
Yeah.
So cold.
We started off every day like with a sweatshirt or whatnot, and then you got to shed layers. But
it was actually beautiful weather and turned out great. But just glad it wasn't as hot as I thought it was going to be,
Yeah. We did like kind of like 3 big things. And then the resort that we stayed at was really awesome. And just, spend an entire day out by the pool and the activity center. And like they had like a big water slide and splash pad and just a huge resort pool.
Like turf lawns with activities and games and soccer and whatever.
Yeah.
So
that was even cool. Like one day, it was the day after Discovery Cove, and the girls immediately, whenever we got to the hotel, they wanted to go down to the activity center. And so we stayed in there. It was like me, Parker, and Ava. And we stayed in there until like they ended up closing the activity center. But even whenever they were closing the activity center, it just shows you like how family oriented this place was. Like, even the workers in there, they're like, hey, we're closing down, but do you want to take any of the board games with you? And like, y'all can go like take them to your room and like borrow whatever in here. And like, that was like super cool. Like that stuff didn't have to just live in the activity center. Yeah. Like you could go and just like have a game night up in your room with your family and stuff. And that was like super cool. Like that, just that little touch, like that, like spoke to me like, oh man, like this place is like really cool. Like you can just like grab something and bring it up to your room and like continue the fun with your family. And so, that focus was very on the family there, and it was really neat. Yeah. And then, so we kind of, it was more like SeaWorld-esque. We did Discovery Cove. The next big day, we went to this place that was like closer to Disney area.
Disney Springs area.
Yeah. And it was Tree Trek Adventures. And so we did this in Williamsburg, Virginia a few years ago. Where it was like this high ropes course where you have to put, your climbing gear and stuff on, and you hook in and go up into the trees, and they have like all the different obstacles up in the trees, and then you can zip line down. And so to see the kids do that whenever they were like 3 or 4.
No, yeah, maybe they were like 4 or 5.
Or 4 or 5. And so just curious like how that would go this time around.
And they've done them at like other like little play places type things, but not like outdoors, real ones.
And like real trees.
That was the first time they did it in Williamsburg or Virginia or whatever.
And in this place, they had more adult centric ropes courses. And then they had ones for kids that were a little bit lower and stuff. And like the obstacles probably weren't quite as strenuous.
I don't know. They had some of the obstacles that I did with Blake on the kids ones. They just weren't as high.
Yeah.
So I was impressed by that the kids were actually doing them.
But it was cool because like, before, whenever we did it the first time back in Williamsburg, Virginia, like me and Danielle were up in the trees.
That's also a great family location for a family trip.
Yeah, that was a cool place. We were up there, and so we kind of like spread ourselves out to where, we could assist the kids like hooking and unhooking and stuff like that. Well, this time around, like we did the tutorial with the kids at the very beginning, and the kids got to learn how to like clip in, clip out, like and be tied off at all times, and like how everything worked, and they got to learn how to do it. And then they went up in the trees and they were by themselves.
Yeah, they're like, bye, we'll figure this out.
And so I ended up not going up in the tree. I just kind of stayed underneath where the girls were.
And that's one of those parenting things that's really hard right now is those moments where I feel outnumbered like this. It's like, I do want to go try it. And we also have Blake, but we also have the Quints who are going to be on a different course. Yeah. At that time, I wasn't under the impression that the adults could do that one. I didn't realize that we could have done that one.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to watch Blake. I wanted to watch the girls. I wanted to try it myself, even though because I love adventure. But it was such a cool thing to witness, to watch. So watching them each pay attention that long of an intro video, not in video, like introduction, and to remember it. But he did say, right, like practice this once on this rope, on this line, and you're going to learn it better as you're doing it, you know? And so once you got it figured out, it'll get easier once you're doing it. And so, I loved seeing the girls each try the adventure. They loved it, of course, because we know that they would.
Yeah.
No one was really scared. But seeing them conquer the courses, all the different ones, and then doing the zip lining, doing all this pretty much by themselves. But the best thing I loved about it was them working together.
Yeah.
Like, so team bonding, sister bonding, working together to help each other unclip and clip was so great. So
and that's one cool thing. So we'll have like a family vlog that'll come out after this. That was one thing. Like I somewhat got emotional down there because I'm below and like I can't just climb up in this tree and like help Hazel. And Hazel was like in the back, which hindsight, we probably shouldn't have put her in the back. But they told us, like, if you're a little less comfortable, like, go towards the back. And so, like, Hazel all the girls just, like, rushed to the tree. And so, like, Hazel ended up kind of bringing up the rear. And she had a little bit more difficulty clipping and unclipping and, like, figuring out what to do and stuff. And so, like, I'm underneath her and, like, showing her what to do. Like, Parker just, like, flew through the course. Like, Parker was, like, me up there, like, just like a little tree monkey.
Yeah.
And she just, like, there was a few times I'm like, where is Parker? Like, she was like all the way finished with the first course. She was on to the second one. I mean, she was just flew through it. And then Parker finished right about the time, a few minutes before Hazel finished the first one.
Yeah.
And then Parker came running up. She's like, can I do this one with Hazel? And I was like, yes. I was like, but one caveat, like you have to stay behind Hazel. And I want you to help Hazel through this course. Mm-hmm. But just to watch Parker kind of and Parker's always kind of, in a sense, babied Hazel a little bit and like kind of takes her under her wing and like helps her through situations. But to watch Parker work with Hazel all the way through this course and like kind of be like the little mommy up in the tree with her and like help Hazel through each one and kind of moved Hazel along a lot faster. Like that was just super sweet. Like it blew me away. To just watch Parker and she just helped Hazel like every step along the way. And it was just super sweet. Yeah. And just like watching that happen and just like watching them like, be like, come on, you got it. Just sit down and it'll glide you. Like just hearing them like encourage and talk to each other. I'm like, can we just take this to the house? Like helping each other with their laundry and like, but it was just a super sweet moment. And it honestly is one of their favorite things about the trip. And so I love to have a variety of things on vacation where it's like, and I think that we did a good job of this one because they don't want to be go, 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 go all the time. They really do want to just like enjoy. They want to see everything and then they want to do what they want. And sometimes that's like, I just want to go back to the hotel and swim and play on the water slides or just like hang out there. And so we really tried to slow down this trip a little bit more than what we normally would be doing to really tackle all the things. But not choosing to do something Disney this trip was a huge advantage because they've been asking to go back to Disney. And I was just like, I'm just not ready for that hecticness. And especially we didn't really want to go to Disney during spring break.
It was spring break. It's going to be crowded everywhere, but they loved it. They loved the trip. And I would say like it was a success. It was a little bit less adventure, but different type of adventure that we've had and experienced together. And that's what feeds me as like, I love this family. I love when we get to do things like this. And so I'm already thinking on the airplane, okay, where's the next place that I'm going to start planning?
Yeah. Like, like going to Discovery
these are
Cove,
memories.
going to Discovery Cove, and then, then doing the tree trek adventure area. I mean, it was very much so like a family activity where you get to experience something together as a family. Some things like you're kind of pushing through a fear, or you're having to work together through something, to see just how much they've grown and matured, and helping each other and experiencing something with each other and stuff. It was like super cool.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably like my favorite thing, like as a whole of this trip. It was just different. We weren't just like in a big theme park, just walking through every day and just going from one thing to the next. And you're just kind of fighting crowds and stuff. It was very much different.
Yeah. And I would say that you can just see that they're getting older. And so like, even for one instance, it was like, Blake was like, can I go take a shower up in the room while y'all are down here so I can have hot water? Like we all fight in our house. So she goes upstairs, and then like Riley or Ava wanted something. And I was like, okay, literally like stepping outside of my fear and letting them be a little bit more independent. And the rule is you have to always be with someone. You can't ever go anywhere alone, Yeah. And so like going to the bathroom, like at the pool, which I could see across from where we were sitting, and it's like, okay, but you can go, that is the bathroom. We've already been to it. Take a sister and y'all go together, just kind of like trusting them a little bit more, but not allowing them to like free for all, still having to have like, you need to ask and get like, is mom and dad okay with this? And they know that. They're not going to just like go off and us not know where they are. But so we're just kind of like getting into that a little bit of an older stage, which is beautiful, but it's also kind of sad because, it's beautiful, but it's sad. Like it was nice. Like we were on a family vacation, and for 30 minutes, we actually sat on the pool chair next to each other. And it was like, wow, this is weird. We're having an amazing time. And now we're just chilling here like we're on a solo trip.
Yeah.
But, then 30 minutes later, the kids are like, we did this and blah, blah, blah. And it's like fun, so it's bittersweet to kind of go through these things. And like this is what I love about adventure, whether it's, here in staycation mode in Houston and going to some other activity park together or whatever. It's like, this is what I feel is what family is all about, is like doing things together. And I feel like we've always kind of talked about that, and like family is important and doing them together. And what I want to be able to do these things with both my sisters, Junior, a whole side of your family. Like, let's do all this together, but that's not realistic. So,
and this is one of those trips where like, and it wasn't just like doing things together. It was like doing hard things together and like pushing through and pushing past either fears or just things that you just don't know how to do. And you're like learning as you go, and you're learning new things. And, it taught our kids a lot on this trip. Mm-hmm. And, I think that's what was valuable with this trip. We kind of thought outside the box a little bit, did things, found like little hidden gems where, it wasn't just like the things that everybody was doing at the time. And, and we had a great time.
Yeah. I mean, even going on the ropes course, I went with Blake, and it's even beneficial, even through something like that, to have like a buddy with you, because we were both there for each other to be like, hey, you forgot to clip this or like do this. And like the 2 times that I went on the zipline thing, I'm like hooked up and whatever. And both times I like sat, like kind of squat down to go. And she's like, Mom, you forgot to put the rolly thing on.
The trolley. Both times. I'm like, oh my gosh, Blake, I'm so glad you're here with me. Not that I would have fallen or done anything, but it is there for a reason and stuff. And so, and I told her, I think, reiterating to them too, like,
Blake, I'm so glad that you're my partner to remind me of that, you know, and I don't want you to go do, I didn't want you to do this. I think Parker would have done the big ropes course with her, but wasn't tall enough. Like you had to go by height and how tall your arms reached to reach the top like rope or cable or whatever. But it'll soon be a day where they're all tall, where one of them can buddy up with Blake. But I did one session and I took the shortcut, got through like 2 or 3 obstacles, and it was like shortcut was a zip line to 2 more, or you could go like to the 4 or 5 more before you. I was like, I'm going the shortcut, Blake. She's like, okay, let's do it. I want to go on the zip line. But
so this was just, you know, we had a great spring break, and this was like full of, you know, just fun adventures and just different types of things that as a growing family, you know, it's so beneficial to just like value experiences and stuff with your kids and learning experiences and things, putting your kids through things that kind of test them and even along the way, just like teaching them how to do stuff, even just going through the airport, like teaching them, you know, and showing them along the way instead of just, you know, you got these little ducklings just following you everywhere you go, but to show them, you know, this is how you navigate here and this is why we do this and stuff. And they learned a lot this trip.
I think I saw a change in you too. Just like seeing you not want to, I think you were enjoying watching your kids doing certain things and learning those activities and doing them versus you showing them.
Yeah.
And I think this trip, I saw a lot of that where it kind of clicked to me like, wow, like this is hitting you too. Like you're experiencing this new type of travel with the kids. Like they are capable of doing these things. And now I
just wanted to soak it in.
Yeah. And now we're watching and being able to like witness it and look at it. And so it is. It's like
even at the tree truck place, like I never even went up in the tree. Like I just wanted to like stay down and just
and that was huge just for you for me to hear you say like I'm okay not to even to
because
go
I
up there.
love adventure and I love like climbing and all this kind of stuff. Like
but it's like we can go do that on our own, you know.
Yeah,
but
and like I've done this kind of stuff before. Like I don't need to. Like I'd rather just like experience my kids enjoying it, especially because like we would be on 2 completely different courses, and I would completely miss them, like working through things together and stuff. And I'm like. And whenever you were like, I'm going to go with Blake or whatever, I'm like, great. Like, but like, I'm just going to stay here. Like, I don't have to go over there with you guys. And
that's what I was thinking at the moment. I was like, hey, I'll go do this course with Blake because they had 3 for the adults and then we'll rotate. And you're like, no, I'm good. Like I don't even need to go up there. I don't even know why I have this on. He's like, I'm fine, whatever. So that to me was even like a growth step of like, wow, you are giving up a love of adventure just to be here watching and observing and listening and looking and, you know, capturing and stuff too. But like, that's a good, I don't know, that warmed my heart. I think not only just seeing the kids, but seeing you kind of like be in that moment. And like, that was good. That was good.
Yep. So, things we've learned and advice for the trip: always have a doggy bag,
but not for your dogs,
and just live in the moment.
Yeah,
don't worry about like having to necessarily feel like you need to experience something or whatever, but just be in the moment and enjoy it with your kids. And you know, if it's something that like you're witnessing that your kids are like learning through, I mean, like kind of just soak it in because they're growing so fast.
And then obviously, I know when we go on vacations, we want to typically take advantage of the time that we're there to do everything. But I really think it's valuable to kind of allow for some space to make a change for like, if you want to change dinner and just like room service, just to hang out, not be so stressed about like, this is our dinner time and we need to get ready and go here, because sometimes that takes away from the moment of joy and fun that you're having just to go get ready to go to dinner. I mean, there was one night, actually 2 nights, I think out of the 5 days, where we were just like, the first night we stayed there, whatever. I think we did. Anyway, where it was just like, we just want to chill out. They were doing a movie at the pool that night and the kids want to play. So I was like, let's just hang out here and skip dinner tonight. And we're just going to order a couple things and eat some leftover pizza we had or whatever we had in the fridge from leftover restaurant, and ordered a salad and I think something for the kids. So just be okay with making a change kind of like on the fly to absorb like the quality time that you're having like in that moment. So that's good.
Yep. So that was episode 26 of More Than Reality podcast.
Thanks guys for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along with us on our vacation.
We have lots more to talk about vacation, but
yeah, for sure.
This was a little bit of tips and logistics and some of our
day of recap.
Yeah. What we loved about our trips.
Yep.
So,
all right. Thank you guys for tuning in and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
All right. We love you guys.